Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Coffee and Chat with Mel. This week's video follows on from my last video, which was about individuation and the role that it plays in autism. For those of you who missed it, individuation is simply the first stage that we go through as a human being. It is a stage that happens between the age of 0 and 2. And what happens during this time is we get our perceptions into harmony. We start to perceive things accurately using our different senses. And we develop a sense of self and the knowledge that self is separate from other things and self is separate from other people. Now, what we know is with autism, individuation just hasn't happened fully. So we need to help that happen in a nice, gentle, holistic way. Now, the question that I was asked about this is that, well, if we can help someone with autism with that individuation stage, is that all we need to do to help them participate more fully in life? And that is a really, really great question. So let's just think about this. The childhood development stage of individuation for a neurotypical child happens between the age of 0 and 2. So at 2 years old, what is starting to happen is that that child is starting to develop their core identity. And this is done through experiences. So this child is taking in experiences and kind of like putting it into a filing cabinet to start to develop that core identity. And the experiences kind of get tagged on to others so that they can start to make sense of the world and to start to predict if they act this way in a certain situation, this might happen. Now, if we think about a person with autism and they may be 8, they may be an adult of 58. If we are just helping them through that individuation stage now, there's quite a lot of catching up to do. So from our perspective here at Davis Autism, it wouldn't be fair to give this person the ability to become individuated and then just leave them to it, because there's a lot of experiences that have not really kind of gone in very accurately due to that sense of perceptions just not being in harmony. So what we do need to do is to put something in place to support that individual to have those experiences come in and really start developing that solid core identity and help them understand life and start participating more fully in life. So that's kind of the next step in the Davis Autism approach. What we do is we have a beautiful, simple set of life concepts that Ron Davis developed, and we teach those concepts explicitly using the medium of plastilina clay. We create the concepts on the table so that they're visual and they can be really well solidly understood. But then what we do is we go out into the real world and allow that individual to experience that concept so that they can start to develop that really solid filing cabinet and to start making sense of the world and developing that really solid core identity. So this is kind of the next step, and it really is very, very crucial to be helping these people to start participating more fully in life. Now, what are these concepts? So there's a big set of concepts that we cover in the Davis Autism approach, but just a few of them. The first concept that we look at is the idea of change, something becoming something else. And we do know that change is just a natural law. It happens all the time and it happens all around us, whether we are involved with it or not. And change can be really confusing, confronting, and frightening for those with autism. So it's a really fundamental concept to start with and to really get embedded into the identity. Then we build on the idea of change and we look at the idea of consequence, something that happens as a result of something else. So we're building, 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 and we're looking at the cause and the effect. And what we know with people with autism is that often that cause and the effect are not necessarily connected in a strong way. So they may see the effect and kind of not know how they got to that situation. So that's a really powerful concept too. We also look at the idea of different sequences, which are really, really powerful. We look at the idea of order and disorder and to be able to create order in your life. And we work through these concepts and get to much higher level concepts such as motivation, ability, and ultimately looking at responsibility. So what these concepts do is they provide a framework for understanding the world. They are just so beautiful because they are not a rote set of learnt behaviours. So what happens is that they just become a part of you and a part of your thinking process so that they can be transferred across any situation that happens, any experience that happens. So that is the next step in the Davis autism approach. And that is really, really essential in allowing those with autism to participate more fully in life. So to sum up, step 1 in human development is individuation, gaining that sense of self, gaining that accurate perception. Step 2 is identity development, and this is where we need to support these autistic individuals through once they have become individuated. And it really is not until down the track that social integration comes into play. And I know that for a lot of you, social integration is where you see the gaps, it's where you see the challenges, and it really is something that is a big concern for support people of those with autism. However, social integration really cannot happen until individuation has been complete and there's been a lot of identity development happening. So social integration really happens quite a lot further down the track. I hope that answered your question about individuation and is that enough? And I hope that you have lots more questions now. Please email me or message me with your questions. I would love to answer them. I'd love to help you out. And until next time, have a great day.